Let's play mathematics. Do you believe that mathematics
is something that one can play? Is it a play, a game, an instrument that one can play? In fact, mathematicians are playing all the time. They make the mind their playground. They play with ideas, they play with patterns, they invent rules, and then they explore the consequences. And that is quite comparable to young children who explore the patterns in their surroundings and experiment with the rules of social interaction in role playing. But unfortunately, that is not the common opinion in our society about mathematics. When I attended my first ESERA conference in Stavanger in 2008, a German colleague asked me about my work, and when I said, "Oh, I work with early childhood mathematics," she answered, "Mathematics? That does not belong to early childhood." And then she added, "Oh, of course, someone has to work on transition to school as well." No, I'm not working on transition to school. I think that mathematics is relevant throughout the whole life, and therefore in early childhood. That was a decade ago, but I experience often that not that much has changed. I hear often educators say we should not afflict young children with mathematics. This year at my university college we had a discussion about the implementation of new fields of specialization, and the management proposed a major in language and one in science and mathematics. And the main objection from my colleagues was, "Oh, that would be too much focus on transition to school." I had a hard job to explain that this is not what it is about. I want to read one quote from a German pediatrician that I think is quite typical, at least for Central Europe. He writes, or has written in 2011, "A generation increasingly struggling with burnout in the prime of life designs for their children a life cycle with even more tempo, even more achievement, even more support. They turn kindergartens into schools because they believe children who learn math early are quicker to reach the goal." Wait a minute, which goal? I think it's remarkable that he especially and only mentions early mathematics as it would be a synonym for schoolification of the kindergarten. I agree with him that preschools and kindergartens should not be schools. There are a lot of differences and a totally different approach to play and learning in the kindergarten. And I agree with him that focusing too much on achievement may cause mental problems. But I do not agree that this is what early mathematics is about. Does knowing too much mathematics cause burnout? No, I don't think so. The opposite is true, I think. Mathematics helps you to organize your life and to solve your problems that will reduce your struggles. And on the other hand, mathematics that is joyful. Doing logical riddles is relaxing. But that is not what, so that is not mathematics is the problem, I think, but how we teach mathematics in school and how this affects the opinion about mathematics, the beliefs about mathematics in our society. Mathematicians like to compare mathematics with music. Both mathematics and music have two very different aspects, sides. On one hand, there is an abstract notation, and some practical skills. So the abstract musical notation with 5 lines and notes, that is as abstract as number symbols and operation symbols. And practicing scales on the piano as boring as memorizing multiplication tables. But on the other side, we have the listening to music, the singing, the playing instruments. And that should be the same with mathematics. We do not do formal mathematics in preschool. We do not work on number facts. But the children explore in a playful way mathematical structures in their environment. It is interesting that also many educators say we should not afflict young children with mathematics. Most of them agree that mathematics is an important part of our life in the modern society. But many of them argue children have mathematical experiences on their own. There is no intervention of the teacher or educator needed. A comparison with music again shows the fallacy. So young children start at an early age to make melodic and rhythmic sounds with their body, with their voices, tapping, and with everyday objects. Does this mean we should not introduce songs and musical instruments in preschool? That would be silly. Of course, we broaden their musical understanding and their musical repertoire with introducing songs. And that should be the same with mathematics. Yes, children have mathematical experiences in their daily life and in their play. Children playing hide and seek have rich experience with the space and with spatial relations. This is what Alan Bishop calls intuition. And in role play, they have experiences, rules and changing rules and stretching rules. And there are a lot of examples, and I don't have time to go into all the details. But I think the teacher is needed to deepen and to broaden the mathematical understanding of the children. And at this conference, I've heard a lot of good examples of how we can do this, how we can enrich the children's play so that they go deeper into mathematical thought, that they yet think through their mathematical ideas. And that is not a burden for children, that is in fact fun for children, but that requires educators and preschool teachers who have competence and knowledge about children's development of mathematical thinking, and educators who are self-enthusiastic about mathematics, who by themselves love mathematics, love to work with mathematics, love to explore mathematical ideas and concepts together with the children. Research shows that that children have a lot of experiences with mathematical ideas in their play and in their everyday life. They enumerate, and they have experience with spatial relations, and they classify things, and they make patterns and they experience patterns, but the teacher is needed to help them to go more into the depth, and that will enrich the children's life. And so I would, because I cannot go into all the details, I would encourage you, if you are interested, talk to me, join our special interest group, and read the latest special issue about innovative approaches to any check.